Thanks for staying with us. It's time now for JN Interactive. Barima Osei Asare. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am good.
I like your pocket kerchief, huh?
Yeah, you want
Fabulous. Don't keep it.
Anyway.
Please keep it.
I will, but we'll share later. Sharing is caring after
Sharing
all.
is caring. We are friends.
Absolutely.
We are partners in crime who make people laugh.
Well, tell us what's happening.
There's so much happening on social media. But I think in light of everything that is happening, with everybody crying that of the economic hardships, there's a bigger one, that Parliament will be forced to close soon because they are in debt.
Oh.
Yes.
I saw that coming.
You saw it coming?
Well,
if we don't have money, then of course they would also go.
Right.
But it's bigger than this, and we'll be dissecting it today on the show.
All right, let's hear you then.
Okay, wherever you are, this is your most interactive half hour on TV, and my name is Marian Ture. Welcome to your show. So, welcome. But before we start, I'd like to announce all the social media tools that you need to get in touch with the show. You'll find us on facebook.com/joynews-on-TV. Like our page so that you can comment on all the posts we put there, and we'll share what you're sharing with the rest of the world. We are on Twitter. We tweet at Joy News on TV, at JN Interactive GH, and at MN Ture. All these 3 Twitter handles are ready to retweet your thoughts and share what you're sharing with the rest of the world. You can send us an email, joynewsim@multitvworld.com, and our WhatsApp number is 054-010-9009. And JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. So it is absolutely unbelievable the level at which the deepening economic crisis of the country continues to affect every facet of state institutions without any immediate recourse. The third arm of government, which is the judiciary, was hit so badly by the financial woes that the appeal courts in Cape Coast and Kumasi were shut down. The situation was so bad that the Ghana Bar Association issued a press statement over the judiciary's inability to run effectively due to financial challenges because government had not released their annual subvention. Now it is the turn of the second arm of government, the legislature. Reports actually say that Parliament is actually broke to the extent that lawmakers may be forced to go on recess as early as Friday, July 18th. Interestingly, it was the same financial problems that compelled Parliament to postpone reopening thrice last month. And I'd like for us to go through the story together on the iPad here. That Parliament recessed on March 28, 2014 and was expected to reconvene on 27th May. But the Speaker actually did not have the House come back, and okay, business, you know, had to really suffer because of that. The Speaker, however, rescheduled the sitting date to 3rd of June, but just a day before the sitting, the Public Affairs Directorate issued a statement that the date has been changed to 10th June instead. And then there were so many other things here that I probably would want us to see. This one says that the Speaker rescheduled, yes, which we have spoken about already. I wanted us to go and see here. Apparently, the reason, chiefly among the reasons given by the minority leader, was that the contract to embark on the renovation of the chamber is ready, and the House must go on recess to enable the contract to begin work on to complete it on time. But sources, that was the reason we got before for why they didn't come back. That was our reason. But sources close say that the seat of the leadership of the House is actually under pressure to go on recess because here it says there is no money, and their continuous stay in the House is draining the government coffers. So as we speak right now, government is actually broke. And the announcement made by the majority leader, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, last Friday confirms exactly what a deputy minority leader, Dominic Nitowell, said, that financial constraints may actually compel them to go on early recess. So this is what we are talking about on JN Interactive today, that Parliament would be forced to go on recess because they are actually broke. And we have been joined on the line by David Agbe, who is Executive Director of the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, to put things into perspective for us. Good evening, David, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mariam.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Considering everything that's going on.
Yes, I mean, if you want to think about this country, it will get to a point in time that you might be quite stressful. So at times you need to take it easy.
Let me start with my first question. As a civil society group, how does this news sound to you?
In fact, it will be a sad occasion should in case that Parliament has to go on recess again, because they just, resumed quite not long ago, as you just chronicled, the way things were done. And so for me, what we are seeing, if Parliament has to go on recess, we are looking at the issue of the parliamentary businesses or business committee, what actually they do over there. And so if they are going on recess, it's going to have a repercussion on the country in a sense that there are certain bills, there are certain businesses that they need to actually, conduct. There are several meetings that they need to engage other group of people to do all those things. They also have a responsibility of actually assessing the performance of the executives. And so if you looked at all these issues, and when Parliament, has to go on recess untimely, it is going to have a negative repercussion on this country. And don't forget of the fact that the country, as you speak now, is not on a sound footing. And if Parliament has to go on recess, it's going to be worsened, further. And so we need to actually appeal to the executive to look for money elsewhere so that the Parliament will be able to run. And as a matter of fact, Parliament has that constitutional mandate to also make sure that this country also, get a certain benefit in terms of economic and social benefit. And so all these issues are, very quite important one, which the executive needs to consider to actually raise, money somewhere so that Parliament could be much efficient to be able to, bring out issues that could actually enhance the governance process of the country.
Right. Talking about finding alternative sources of funding, what suggestion do you have on the way forward for them? What alternatives do they have at this particular moment in time?
As a matter of fact, government has so many ways of, raising, revenue. And so the question is, all the revenue that the government is collecting, what are they using it for? We know that they are using some for other developmental projects, construction of roads and social amenities, in terms of schools and here and there. But then, we should have a certain contingency plan where we could actually make sure that Parliament actually is well resourced so that we don't get some of these things coming up, because we need to take governance process of this country very serious. And so Parliament has a critical role to play as far as enacting laws, as far as financial administration, as far as all governance process is concerned. And they have that mandate. And so the Constitution provided, clearly that Parliament need to actually make sure that they pass certain laws, they bring certain memorandum, which will actually enhance the governance process. Because the bane of democracy or multi-party system is to make sure that we have a good system and efficient legislature where they could be able to, bring out, a lot of laws that will be able to enhance our democratic credential. And if you looked at the architecture of our country, right from, the executive, you are coming to, the legislature before you go, even go to judiciary. So they have a critical role to play as far as our democracy is concerned. So we will appeal with the executive that no matter the situation, they should be able to look for a certain, funding alternative that will be used to, govern the country as far as our legislature is concerned.
Right. I'd want you to educate us here a little bit before you go, especially when it comes to the independence of Parliament and obviously their oversight over the judiciary and executive. How is this going to be affected if Parliament actually is to shut down?
I mean, then it is not going to be effective because Parliament has that responsibility to actually assess the executive in terms of their performance. You know, government policies, government programs, they have that responsibility to question all the ministers so that the ministers will also provide a certain answer as to the way governance business is going on. For instance, if they have to approve a certain loan that could be used to actually construct some school buildings, don't forget that the NDC actually chronicles certain things that they will be able to do in terms of building, you know, schools, hospitals, and all that. So Parliament has that responsibility to be able to push the executive as to the way forward. What is government doing? The 200, you know, schools that government said that they are going to provide to Ghanaians, are they, you know, making sure, are they raising revenue elsewhere that they'll be able to use to do all those things? You know, polyclinic and other several, you know, promises that the government made. So people are going to assess them, and Parliament has that responsibility to be able to put the question out there so that the executive or the ministers will be able to provide answer that will be able to give hope to Ghanaians that yes, we voted for our parliamentarians, we voted for a government to be able to provide us our needs in terms of our economics, in terms of social, in terms of security, and you can mention, you know, several things that Parliament has that, you know, role, and more to the point, they have such a critical, you know, role to play as far as our governance process is concerned. So it will be very painful if government has to be forced to go on recess because we do not have, you know, money, or we do not have, you know, revenue which they can use to be able to attend several meetings, which they can use to sit in Parliament there to debate on very, very important issues to help, you know, govern this country in a proper manner.
Okay, thank you very much. That was David Agbe, Executive Director, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, actually helping us dissect the issue and to also see the way forward. And thank you very much for joining us this evening. And so we have been out there to solicit your views. First, we wanted to know if you believe Parliament is actually broke, because a lot of you are saying that we have money to send to Brazil to bring our footballers home, forgetting that actually FIFA gave us that money. So do you actually believe that Parliament is broke? Let's take our first video blog.
I don't think so. I don't really believe that. Looking at Ghana, the resources we have, what we generate, you know, they are taxing us through there are a lot of taxes. I believe the country has a lot of money.
It's never so. Because why should Mahama, as our president of the nation, spend a whole lot on pads? I don't think it's fair. You should have used it for better things, like going to the villages to renovate schools with less facilities and poor facilities. But you went all the way bringing in pads. I don't think that is necessary at all, because we didn't complain about pads. Even though things are getting higher, we can afford pad ourselves. So if they say Parliament is broke, I'm not sure. I don't agree with them.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because looking at the whole Parliament being broke, I don't believe that. I think they have to come out and then tell us why and how. I don't believe that. Most of us, we don't believe what is happening now. You see, the nation and everything, the whole Parliament being broke and other things. I think the government should cut down certain things, expenditure, the salaries and big cars and those is given to them. Because when you go to Europe and other economies, you see an MP riding a bicycle and other things. But here, with all this, you see at the expense of the poor at the rural areas, suffering, so many things. So I think they should do something about it, and we don't believe that.
I don't think so. They are earning, their honorables, they are earning about 120,000 Ghana cedi. And even they said they are broke. What about we, the ordinary people? Those of us on the ground. I don't think it's even advisable for them to be making those comments.
Yeah, so we've also been talking to you and we've been asking you how should Parliament be handling this? Because after all, they are in the soup and they are feeling how hot it is. How should they be handling it themselves, especially whether they have to go look for other sources of revenue just to hold government business going? Let's take our next video blog.
So we can also, I think they should also set an open forum so we can also bring in our views, because though we have representatives, but they don't know our problems and our needs. So I think if there is an open forum, we can also bring in our views and some solutions to that.
He has to look for more competent people who can assist him to bring certain things under control. You get my point? Those of them, to me, I think most of them are not competent enough to be heading certain positions.
Well, I think they should cut down their expenses. You know, instead of riding this four-wheel drive in town, they have to rather reduce it, and they should reduce what they spend.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about, and we're asking you, how can governments actually avert this? Because after all, we have someone in charge of this country, and we want to find out how they can all come together to avert this and stop Parliament from shutting down so that the nation's business can continue. We'll take a final video blog when we come back. I'll take some of your comments that have been dropping in on social media.
We need to restructure the economy well. This oil and other sectors, cutting down expenditure.
I think they must look within the country. You know, Ghana is an oil-producing country. We have a lot of revenue we generate from that. We are the second largest export in cocoa. It is believed that our cocoa is the best in the world. And I think if they manage this thing very well, they can generate a lot of export, foreign exchange from what we earn from those exports.
I think there should be cash flow in the country. There are a lot of, the government has to bring more jobs for people to get some to work.
Welcome back. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll take your comments that are trending on social media. Don't go away.